All of us have to face our rivals, our nemesis in tournaments, players whom we are afraid of. But here, this game proves to be a very, very good example. This entire match between Samay Raina and Joel D'Souza, as to how do you face your opponents who have been difficult for you. So Joel D'Souza is considered to be the best chess player amongst comedians, one of the best. And Samay Raina, of course, well known. So it was going to be a very, very tough battle between these two players. And in the first game, it was a two-game match of 15 minutes plus 10-second increment. In the first game, where Samay had the white pieces, something very interesting happened in game one itself. Let's have a look. Is he
Fine.
going to open with? Is he going
So
to play
guys,
e4,
जोएल का बर्थडे आज. I'll give
d4?
him his special birthday gift.
What? f3? He has played his pawn to f3. Joel puts what?
Love you, Joel.
King f2. Love you, Joel. And look at Joel unperturbed. So Samay started off the game with f3 and then continued the game with d5 and then king f2. Oh my god. So he took the challenge. His opponent is very strong. He's beaten him several times, but he took the risk. It was Joel's birthday. He played this move, and then after knight c6, e3. Now, black can just play e5 and get a fine position. You know, it's already, computers say, an advantage of 2 points here. But okay, b6 was played by Joel, bishop b5, bishop b7, and already black has a fine position out of the opening. d4, and now perhaps knight f6 or knight g7. Looks like good way, I guess. Knight g7, maybe even e4. But Joel played bishop d6. This is where I think Samay could have already equalized with the move c4, because if you take, there is d5 winning a piece. But Samay went knight to c3, hitting the pawn on d5. And Joel, a little bit, he was not very calm. He moved instantly and gave a check on h4. Samay pushed him away. I think instead of giving a check, if he would have played ng7, black is just better. So check, g3, queen h5, white took, queen takes. And here I was very surprised that Samay did not find the move queen takes d5. Because after this exchange of queens, it's very clear that only white is better. However, Samay played the move rook e1. And now very good move by Joel, long castle. And now he spotted this, but it's not as good as one move ago. Here, black has an excellent move, black to play and actually win the game. Really, it's beautiful and very instructive. It also shows that f3, king f2 that was played in the opening didn't come without its drawbacks. So, kudos to you if you found the move knight to e5. This is a brilliant move because it hits the knight and it's also threatening c6. Also, if the knight moves away, then knight takes f3 is just winning the game. This is hanging, this is hanging. It's too many problems to face. And also, if you play c4, there is knight d3 check. If you play e4, there is c6. So all in all, black was winning, but Joel once again rushed too soon. I think one of the problems that I have seen with the comedians is that at the critical moment, they do not give enough time. And it's not with the comedians, with any players who are not very experienced. They try to rush even when they have a lot of time on the clock. So Samay took, rook takes, and bishop c4, saving his bishop. And this is where I like the next move of white. It's easy to push the pawn here to e4 because you want to develop your bishop. Samay realized that he would be giving up the d4 square, and that's not a good idea. So he played the move b3. Very, very smart move. His opponent went knight e5. And here you have two ways to continue. I think the stronger way is bishop b2. You can't play f6 because of bishop e6, pinning. And if you take here, then bishop g7 wins the rook. But Samay's move is also very cool. He plays bishop e2, and look how these two pawns actually stop any active ideas of black. Knight e7, I think a mistake at this point. He should have played knight f6 or even h5 in this position, and black is worse but can be handled this position. But when Joel played knight g7, it's very interesting to note how Samay was thinking in this position. So let's have a look here. To a very, very humble
My idea is to
individual
go
today.
f4. उसका
Aha.
नाइट हिले तो मेरे को बिशप यहाँ डालना है.
Yeah, right. That's a
वो
good idea. That's a good idea, Samay.
बिशप
Because now
g4 करना है. तो देखते क्या होता है. Is it possible
spotted it.
also actually?
He spotted it actually. He spotted this
f4,
tactic, guys. Spotted this f4, knight moves, and
knight
bishop
g6,
g4
बिशप
pinning.
g4.
Wow,
पॉन
this is
बढ़ाएगा. एक
going
पॉन
to.
तो मिलेगा मेरे को, पर is it worth it?
It's totally
I feel like
worth
pawn
it.
is worth it यार. जब जोएल का एडवांस कर करना हो तो. जल्दी खेलते हैं थोड़ा.
Wow, Samay Raina is going to win this game. Actually, Joel's last move, knight e7, was a blunder. Quite a big mistake. He should have played knight f6, taking control of the square, or h5, taking control of the square. The moment he played knight e7, Samay very alert, plays f4, and now Joel kind of realizing if he goes back here, then bishop g4 is going to be trouble. He's going to play 4
Do I
now.
have
Not only is his knight attacked, but also, yeah, bishop g4
do I
now is
have
a
this
powerful move.
bishop g4?
That's the best move, because if you play bishop b2, then it's just attacking this pawn, which can be saved. Yes, this is a great move. Samay now on track towards victory. This is a pin. I think Joel has to play f5, knight f5, and move his king away. Oh, he
Wait,
didn't
what?
even try. He didn't even try. And now Samay takes his exchange up.
What
He has to
is his idea?
now. There's no idea as such. He just has lost an exchange here. Yeah. So that was how Samay won an exchange, and you could see his thought process, the tension in the match. And here, after f4, bishop g4, and f5 could have been played, but after knight f5, king b8, knight g7, rook d8, bishop b2. It's already 2 pawns up and totally winning. So after rook h d8, I liked how Samay finished him off. Takes bishop a3, and he very clearly noted that rook d2 can be met with rook e2, knight g6, rook a d1, exchanging when ahead in material, check, king e6, the final blunder, and f5, winning a piece. And after this, Samay actually managed to checkmate him pretty quickly. Here, check, 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 check. And guys, mate in one. That was a very, very strong game by Samay, and he managed to beat Joel quite convincingly and took 1-0 victory in the match, 1-0 lead. And now was the second game. If Joel won, it could go to the Armageddon. If Samay drew or won, then he would win the match. That too, beating his opponent with one f3 was very, very special. So now Joel, with the white pieces this time, opened the game with one e4. Now this is very clearly some of Adiban's training, who had been training Joel in comedians on board 3. So after d5, knight to f3, c5. It's known as the bird's opening. b3. It's transposed into b3 systems now. Bishop b2, knight f6. Samay played a very good opening. d3, castles, bishop c6. Once the knight is, unpinned, it's good to take it, because if you castle here, then after knight e7, this bishop is left hanging, and then a6, maybe it will get trapped. So therefore, bishop c6, bc6, knight bd2, rook e8, knight to e5. And I didn't like Samay's move, bishop b7 here. Also, I didn't like very much the move rook e8. Perhaps more in the spirit of the position is knight to d7. Then planning for f6 e5 or even queen e7 e5. When he played rook e8, knight e5, bishop b7, it's just misplacing the bishop in a big way. And df3, knight d7, castles, and f6. So Samay played well here. He has exchanged the pieces, queen e1, and now he went for the move e5. I think this is not a great idea, as we shall see why. c4 was much better. Takes, takes, takes. And the main point of this thing is, even though you are a pawn down, you want to open up this bishop. And how do you do that? Yes, c5. The bishop opens up the other bishop on this diagonal, and black is doing pretty well. When he played the move e5, Joel now should have taken, takes, and maybe here e4 already is a very solid move, keeping everything closed. Another move could be queen h4, which is a nice move. He played the move f5, and I did not like this move at all, because now Samay took. Joel had the plan to take this pawn, but it only meant that now black's bishop had opened up, and this was not what white wanted. Compare it to a position something like this, and you realize that both bishops are closed and white has some more potential in the position. So here queen h5, knight f3, and now rook e7. A better idea could have been bishop c8 with the idea of bg4, but rook e7 was very natural. The plan was to double down the e file and hit here. I think white had a very, very good idea in this position, which began with the move queen to, he played queen f2, but bishop a3. Point being that if you go rook e8, I go queen c3. And when you take here, I am just in time to take on c5 and hit this bishop and also this rook. And after bishop takes, queen takes, white is at least equal in this position, maybe slightly better. So I like this idea of shifting, giving up this pawn and shifting attack on the c5 pawn. However, queen f2, rook e8, rook e1 was passive. And now g5 was a very, very dangerous move. I think it's a bad move by Samay, because he had a clear plan here with bishop c8, or even with bishop a6. I felt maybe start off with c4, bishop a6. He could have activated his light squared bishop. With g5, it was not a very good move, and Joel instantly played this excellent move e4. I want you to see that Samay had actually prepared this move bishop takes f6, rook f7, looking here, and then eventually playing g4 and putting pressure on this point. So it was very smart of him, and bishop g5 is met with a very powerful shot, which is, try to think, bishop takes h2. You take here, you lose the queen. So e4 was played, de, rook e4, rook e4, de, rook e4, and now Joel took the pawn. And the point was that if you played the move g4, then there was knight h4, and the position is extremely complex. But here, Samay made a mistake, and he went rook f4. Now the rook attacks the knight, also the bishop. However, after bishop takes g5, white is completely winning. I want you to check out what actually happened in the game, and we'll go and check out the video. It's not trivial, guys. It's not trivial for Joel to take this pawn. There are calculations to be done. Rook takes f3 has to be calculated. However, if you want to beat Samay Raina, you have to calculate because this guy is playing
Ah,
quickly. He's playing without
wait, what?
much thought. Oh, G3 blundered. He's blundered a piece here. What is Joel doing? From a completely winning position, he just blundered a full piece. And he thought for what? He thought for 3 minutes before making his move. Yeah, so hard luck for Joel. He could have just taken the pawn on g5. I know that he was a bit afraid of rook f3, but if you calculate carefully, after queen f3, bishop h2, king h1, there is nothing. White is winning. And if queen h2, king f2, the king runs away, and white is once again winning. G3 was a blunder because after rook takes f6, Joel lost a pawn, and within a few moves, he even lost the game. Check, and that was all over. Queens were exchanged, they made a few moves, and in the end, Joel resigned the game, and Samay Raina won 2-0 in this match. A very, very strong performance by Samay, who now leads the tournament with a massive score of 15 out of 15. He's playing very well. At the same time, Joel had his chances but couldn't take them. Samay, great play by him. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Thank you very much and keep following Comedians on Board All Stars presented to you by Newton School.